All right, one of our first assignments for welding is going to be our aluminum lap weld. Both sides, just like our test welds in our first metals class. We're going to do a lap weld. You can see how they overlap. And we're using 1/4 inch aluminum plate. This stuff I just cut off of a big chunk that we had laying around. The stuff that you'll be using is bar stock, and you'll lop 3-inch or 4-inch sections of it using the horizontal bandsaw. So for setup on this, and we'll get to the machine and welding it later, but just for setup, we've got 2 pieces, and we're going to have them overlap nicely. We don't want to have them skewed like that, although this is totally fine. But for what I want for the lap weld, we want these 2 edges to be parallel. And give them a clamp with either a vice grip or one of the other clamping devices we have over there. And then get it set up so that it's easy for you, whether you're right or left-handed. We need to use the grounding clamp as well. For this is pretty good right here for me. I know holding my gun movement, I'll be able to start over here and pull the weld along this way. That'll be great. So I'm going to have my ground clamp actually clamp on to my vice grip here. I can get a good clamp someplace. This is fun. There we go. So double checking, I'm ready for tack welds on there. All right, so machine setup. We're going to be using argon gas, which is the top manifold gas here, not the bottom. That's what we use for welding steel. So looking at the machine here, this is the machine that we have set up for aluminum welding right now. Here is what we're going to be using for this. Now this is a spool gun. It's a little bit different. The wire is inside of this spool, just like if you're sewing on a sewing machine. And we store that right here. Of course, this can get pulled out and you can weld aluminum basically within 30 feet of the plug-in down on the base. This machine right now is tucked underneath, and you can see how these are nicely wrapped on here, and they slide right in that crack, and that's just for a nice clean look that we have. The machine, as you know, down below here has on-off, so we'll turn that on. And by default, it's often on steel because that's what we weld the most. So what you're going to want to do is just hit the trigger, and that tells the machine, hey, we're sensing that the gun is going to be used for aluminum. So now it allows you to adjust the voltage, and then right here it doesn't allow you to adjust the wire speed. We actually have to use the dial below the gun on the spool gun here. So now when we turn this, I don't know if you can get it in the same screen. Yep. But now I'm turning it up to 750, 770 or 575. So let's look at our chart. We're using aluminum, 100% argon. It's starred here, so it's easy access. Our wire diameter is 030, and our plate is 1/4 inch. So we're going to come down here. We're going to set the machine to 24.5 and 620. Turning the dial. This dial is less finicky than the other Miller machine, so you can really dial it in nicely. And then now this one, we can't adjust. We have to remember to go back up here. I forget this all the time. Turn it down to 620. There we go, we're set up. We've got our grounding clamp. Our gun is ready. We're ready to weld, except now we want to make sure that we have our shielding gas on. So, remove this helmet. If the handle is perpendicular to the piping, that means it's shut off. And now we're turned on. We have to go back over here to the manifold, or the gas tank. This is again our carbon dioxide. This is for steel. This is for aluminum. I want to turn this. We know what these gauges say, but for review, this is the pressure inside the tank, and this is the pressure coming out of the regulator going to our line. We're at about 25, 26. That's pretty good here. And then we have this open as well because it's parallel with the pipe. So we need to replace that. All right, stay tuned for part 2.